Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside it's so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review
Let's review.
Season 7.
Bum.
Bum.
Maybe I can hear those booze calling.
All this tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
They're at it again. All right. Okay, that's right. We're talking Frasier Miracle on 3rd or 4th Street. Dragon, this is one of my favorites, man. I watched Frasier season 1 last year, I think, and I got to get around to watching the rest of it. I really do, but I just such warm feelings associated with this episode. And I have a very simple thesis statement for this episode, Dragon. My thesis statement is that this is an episode that just it toes the line between cynicism and just good old fashioned, like, heartwarming, like goodwill towards man type vibes. And I love the fact that it's so cynical yet so heartwarming. It does both. It flirts with both those elements so well. And it's just a great balancing act, and it's honestly kind of one of my new favorite Christmas specials after I've discovered it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I adore Frasier as well. I mean, I think Kevin Smith echoes a kind of a similar sentiment. He can go to bed by Frasier, and Frasier around me, it comes on really late at night, so I can also kind of like it's ideally it's kind of like the last thing I got before I hit the sack, man. It's I can't get enough of Frasier. I remember I binged it for the first time after the passing of John Mahoney, which kind of got me to finally check out Frasier. I've seen an episode or so, and I went gaga for it, man. I adore this show. I mean, honestly, I love it more than Cheers, frankly. I mean, nothing against Cheers, but
No,
I
I'm kind of
adore
with
it.
you now. No, yeah.
That's the thing. So I backtracked after
Cheers
Frasier
might
to
have the better
Cheers.
ensemble, but I think Frasier is just kind of the better written of the two.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of the Better Call Saul factor, where again they found out everything on the first go, so
Exactly.
they're
Right.
operating at kind of full tilt on the second go. 'Cause I believe James Burrows, he's involved in both shows, and he really kind of develops Frasier from the ground up. So makes sense. Anyway, but yeah, I concur with everything you just said about this special. It's great. I remember this one because my favorite of the Frasier holiday specials we've already covered. We covered with Frasier Grinch, and I kind of
That was
went
also
against
another
this.
wonderful one, yeah.
I really love that one, and I kind of went back to this after a while, and after you were so glowing about it, because I remember the origin for this Tiki. This originally was not part of the lineup,
uh
and then I just kind of had a feling because I was looking at like lauded Christmas specials, and out of all the Frasier ones, this is like a top of the charts sort of like Christmas special from the '90s, and people adore it. It's like I wonder. So I watched it. I really liked it. And I said, Tiki, Tiki, I want you to watch this and tell me if you think it warrants covering this year. Christmas in July, and I'm figuring, well, we'll see how it goes. And Tiki watches it. He's so glowing about it. He pushes Clone High off the schedule.
No. The thing about it is, Dragon, remember, I literally sent you a message. I was like, oh, I don't even have to watch this one. Yes, let's do it. Because once I realized what it was, I was like, oh, I don't have to rewatch it. Yeah, absolutely. This is let's push it to the top of the list, baby.
Yeah. All right. So all that said, let's dive into the Kells, man. Let's talk some Frasier.
All right. So Frasier Crane is on the radio, wishing you the very best of holidays.
Of course, classic Frasier. We have like the text on the screen, like kind of the act break sort of thing, like the Office Christmas party.
Mm-hmm. He says, like many of you, I'll be spending it in the loving embrace of my family, which should give us all plenty to talk about in the next year.
Yep. So then, at this point, he's wrapping up the last show before the holiday break. Roz is eager. You get like a gin and tonic. You go out to the party outside. Bulldog Briscoe enters. Now, of course, Tika is. I have to note because we've only talked about Frasier, I think, maybe one other time with the other Christmas episode. And of course, when you watch the first season. But outside of that, it's so funny. How Dan Butler is the actor who portrays Bulldog Briscoe. And of course, you and I very nostalgically know him as Mr. Simmons from Hey Arnold. Just to know that Mr. Simmons plays this womanizing, magic bulldog. It's endlessly delightful.
It's great. Okay. It's great. Yeah.
Okay, so Bulldog mentions that Father Mike's had a few too many, and he's trying to recreate the nativity scene. What does Ross say?
Well, we know who we can get to play the ass.
Yeah, Roz, Perry Gilpin for the win, kids. Okay. So Frasier, he after Roz gets out of the room, he sneakily wraps a gift for Roz, a gag gift for Roz, which a bulldog kind of points out for the audience, like a trick microphone squirts waters, and yeah, because they agreed not as any the mistake everybody makes around the holidays. They agree not to exchange gifts, which of course means we're gonna exchange gifts.
Sure.
You can't just say we mean it's Christmas.
Holiday faux pas, Dragon. Holiday faux pas. Chalk it up.
Let's put it on the board.
Right.
Okay. So,
of course,
Bulldog,
Larry David knows this whole faux pas of giving and getting too much and too little. You know, he knows it all too well.
Absolutely. That he does. Okay, so Bulldog, Bulldog's bugging Frasier about taking the 12 to 4 slot on Christmas Day, which you can imagine is not ideal. And I love Kelsey. Just period, like a banner statement ever. I adore Kelsey Grammer. I love Kelsey Grammer. I'm just going to say that here. So if I just say it a lot here, so I'm just trying to get all out in the front here. Love Kelsey Grammer. Okay. So, point being, this Kelsey Grammer has this great series.
If only there was a Simpsons Christmas episode featuring Sideshow Bob.
Yep, if only. So we have this great series of no from Frasier, which is love how Grammer is kind of wove it into the conversation here so natural. It says, "Oh, come on, Frasier, my whole family is coming in from Chicago for the first time in 5 years. It says, I'm touched, but I don't care." My sister's bringing her baby again. Just that touch, but he doesn't care. Like, nope. It's all anyways. And then he explains, "Listen, Bulldog, my son Frederick is flying in this year for Christmas, and I've never looked so forward to the holiday since, well, I was your size." So this is in the first season, kids. So this is relatively also very appropriately the 12th episode. 12 for Christmas. Little fun fact. So this is relatively close, I believe, to the last season of Cheers. I want to say is when he got divorced from Lilith. So this is was about a year or so removed from that. So this is why it's such a big deal with Frasier, which is really important to note.
Sure.
So who enters?
I'm sorry, Drake. I don't know his name, but the weather guy.
Well, he doesn't have much of a name, Tiki, but it's fine. It's like Chopper Dave.
Chopper Dave. All right.
So Chopper Dave. Dave, you're not doing the traffic report. You don't have to yell. You're on the helicopter.
Was I shouting?
Was I shouting? Oh, this guy. Here's a deep pull for us. I don't believe it. You don't have to. I don't blame you for not recognizing him. It's fine. I didn't recognize him either, but he seemed a little familiar, so I looked into it. This guy. He was in Gotham. He played Barbara's parents that got killed in the first season.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is a deep pull. I do kind of recognize him, though, now that you mention
I know, right?
it.
Because that's the thing. You look like that guy's it's a face you don't forget. It's like, where have I seen this guy before? And anyway.
That is ridiculous. That is 6 degrees of separation right there.
That is another show we've recapped. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And done a pitch for, did a holiday pitch for as well. So it's all relative. Okay. So what's the news, Tiki?
Bonnie Weems, you know her, right?
Yeah, she does the auto show.
Yeah, she tends to drink more than she should at these parties, and so the newest on-air personality always drives her home.
Which would be Frasier, basically the last established guy with
rookie.
a radio show. Yeah, that's little rookie Frasier.
Frasier, I like how at first he's like, "Oh, I'd be delighted to drive her home." You know,
of course, Bulldog's cracking up.
Gentlemanly type that he is.
As he is. And again, that's why I love Frasier, man. Again, yes, there's some pomposity, which is delightful in its own right, but by the same token, he's so well-meaning. He's such a nice man. So, anyway, so he's delighted, of course. Oh, yeah, I'm sure she'll be delighted, too. As they laugh and go out the room, and now the running gag begins. So then Frasier, let's see, he joins the party. So Frasier goes out there, he kind of mingles amongst the parties by the punch bowl or something. And let's see, Elizabeth enters, another radio person. She walks in. And she's giving Frasier. She baked Frasier some sugar cookies. Oh, a sweet from a sweet. What do you know? So it's then of course he's like, "Hey, did you hear about Bonnie Weems and who's taking her home?" "Oh yes, it's me. It's the Doc!" And they're all laughing and laughing. And Frasier, none the wiser, he goes back into the radio studio and he's like, asking Roz, "Well, why is everyone laughing when I tell them I'm taking home Bonnie Weems?" She laughs. She's like, "What is?" And this is why I love Kelsey. Like, "What is that?" Just
Well, Bonnie Weems is kind of an office legend. She's got a couple of drinks under when she's got a couple of drinks under her belt. She gets a little
Amorous.
amorous, and she will
Won't
not
take
take
no
no
for
for
an
an answer.
And of course, like Fraser, like, oh, God,
Was that all? I'm a big boy.
I'm a big boy, I can take care of myself. All right, if you say so. So then they exchange gifts. Fraser exchanges his gift, and then I love how childish Fraser gets with gifts and things with Roz. So it's like they just turn into kids. Like, oh, Fraser, me too. It's like, oh no, really? He's saying that? Well, he's faking dread in the moment before he realized what the gift was. Like, oh no, with a big old smile on his face, runs to the other. Like, kids on Christmas. It's adorable. So Fraser gets this, opens his gift, and what does he get, Tiki?
Gets a nice fancy briefcase.
Beautiful briefcase, and then he's then stricken with guilt and like dread over, oh no, she got me. Oh, Roz, you really shouldn't have, because then she opens her gift, and it's the gag microphone. But again, Perry Gilpin, she spins it all nicey. It's like, oh, because I'm in the radio. That's what I was going for. And then happy holidays. We'll see you next week. See you after the holiday break.
All right, so then he's accosted by none other than
Bonnie Weems. Bum bum.
Dr. Crane.
All sultry and stuff.
Well, I'm ready to head off whenever you are, Miss Weems.
Just enjoy your party and just tell me when you're ready to go. She downs her like a red, like I don't know if it was a red solo cup. She downs the drink in her hand. downs the drink in her hand. I'm ready now, baby, and just basically just carries, like grabs, like almost thresholds for like not a threshold, basically she just grabs Fraser, lifts him, and walks him out of the room. Just phrased like this. Oh, again, I also remember something to note here too, because I think this goes away at. I know into the third season. I think maybe in this after the second season, he has the lion's mane here of hair. If you notice, he's still rocking the Cheers look. He's lost the beard, but he's still got the lion's mane.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, at the apartment.
Yes, one of my all-time favorites, man. Nas. I love me some David Hyde Pierce. So we're in the Frasier's apartment. David, again, we've gotten so much mileage out of David Hyde Pierce with when we talk about the big political issues. It's quite fun. Anyway, so we Niles, he's drinking some eggnog, big holiday thing there, drinking some eggnog, and some of the great silent comedy from David Hyde Pierce here. Then he just puts it down as he polishes his shoe. Again, always being very erudite. Eddie, the dog. Best dog on television, by the way. Seriously, that dog is probably the best dog actor on television. Anyway, so Eddie, he begins to lick the eggnog. Niles is none the wiser. He then has a sip. He's kind of processing. Something's going on miss here. I can't quite place it. So Frasier walks in like, oh, Frasier. Of course, he was hoping Frasier was not going to be home because it's like, oh, Frasier, what are you doing? Oh, just stop by for an opinion on a gift for Maris. And then ain't Frasier's opinion he's looking for. Who's walking in?
Daphne.
Yes, Daphne. Daphne walks in and gets asked for her, basically looking for Daphne's opinion on by modeling dresses for Maris. These really sultry, really skin tight numbers.
Oh, hello, Dr. Crane.
So, just helping Dr. Crane model a few dresses.
Shall I put the little red one on?
No, I think Niles has all the information he needs. Now, this is what I love. It's such a great kick out of this. Frasier's looking down on Niles' desperation, his oogling of Daphne constantly, because he knows what's going on. He's not going to call him out on it, to embarrass him in front of Daphne. It's it's like he's looking at him like I'm judging my little brother right now. Like, oh, he's always after.
Maris and Daphne are roughly the same size.
Yeah, give or take a foot. Oh, just wonderful. So then Martin walks in, the great, again, the wonderful Martin.
One scene wonder right here, Dragon. One scene wonder right here.
Absolutely. Again, John Mahoney, I miss him so much. Again, I owe a debt to John Mahoney for making me check out this show finally. It's a shame I waited too long to enjoy it. Anyway, so yeah. Martin walks in there. What does he do?
So basically he wants to, let's see, he's asking Frasier where he's been. Frasier's just kind of explained that he did a little last-minute Christmas shopping and everything. I'm sorry.
After he unloaded Bonnie Weems into the cab. I got a colleague into a cab, prayed for the driver. And basically he's trying to dislodge the wedgie of a lifetime from that lift, and did some last minute Christmas shopping. And suffice it to say, Santa Claus has been very good to Frederick this year.
All right,
Martin mentions that
so
Bulldog's been calling nonstop. That's a plot thing. We got to note that. So Bulldog is calling nonstop, begging Dr. Crane. He knows he needle at Dr. Cranley, get what he wants.
so Martin pulls out a fake reef dragon, and Frasier is none too happy.
Dad, what are you doing? I'm gonna reef like every year. But it's plastic. I think that just says it all right there. Frasier, he ain't a plastic guy.
You think a real one would have lasted since 1967?
Oh god, oh man, Mahoney's gold. So, Daphne returns, and speaking of gold, this is what I'm saying, Tiki. I mean, doesn't have the volume of Cheers with the ensemble, but again, with the tight knit group of the ensemble, excellent actors, excellent performance.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Daphne,
sure.
Daphne walks in. This is where I fall in love with David Hyde Pierce all over again, man. This is where Daphne returns. Basically, Daphne comes in, returning the dresses to Niles, and she says, "Give me 1 second here." Says, "Oh, that red one was the black dress was so tight. I had to take my undies off to zip it up," which of course sets Niles off. Where Niles here again, just the great silent acting of David Hyde Pierce. Where basically again he gets flustered and he basically drops the wine. He drops the eggnog or the wine glass because I forget if he poured himself something in the meantime. When he drops a glass, goes everywhere, and then Daphne's going to clean it up and bends over like right in front of him. He's always examining her backside, so he's then flustered even more. So as Frasier is just shooting him a glare off to this like, oh, no. Oh, for God's sake, Niles. Give him the, oh, for God's sake, Niles look.
Uh-huh.
Just great. Just that David Hyde Pierce physical comedy just cracks me up. Okay. Let's say it was just Frasier glaring at his brother's shenanigans. Okay, so then let's see. Oh, the nag calls. Yes, nag.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a nag on the phone. It says, "Oh, it's Bulldog nagging me again. What a nag!" Anyway, so Frasier says, "Yeah, it's the nag." And of course, it says, "Oh, Bulldog for last name. Oh, Lilith." Martin doesn't care for Lilith. So, by the way, I found this out. She comes into the fray. You don't see Lilith until 3 episodes from now. So they really built her up with this thing.
Sure. All right, so basically the long and short of it, Dragon, is that Frederick, he has a dream Christmas ahead of him. A dream Christmas involving the Sound of Music mansion and sleigh rides and gondolas and
toboggans.
Oh my! But Dragon, you know what it doesn't involve?
It doesn't involve It doesn't involve a stump that kids get a kick out of kicking.
Well, it doesn't involve Frasier either. That's what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah. Yeah, we should also mention that so the plan for the season before all this dropped in his lap was they were going to go to a cabin, which Niles was trying to get Daphne to come along with him, and Niles was like selling the heck out of it. Oh, Daphne, you should come with us. We have real snow. It's a real cabin, and we have real reindeer. I mean, Maris has to use a shotgun to scare them all off, but it's really enchanting. You keep them away from the garbage, but it's enchanting. But then Frasier gets the bad news again, the whole Euro Disney of it all, and a day in Euro
Disneyland. That's like I love that. That's like such a, after all the big Sound of Music things, that's like the dream vacation. Then Euro Disneyland, it's like, sure, why not? It's like we don't even need to go to Euro Disneyland, but we're gonna just to rub salt in the wound.
This again, think about how monolithic this Christmas day is, because I think I forget if you neglected this or not within the list, because there's a lot of stuff in there, but I don't blame you.
Oh yeah.
So basically, it's like a friend rented a home in Austria from The Sound of Music, which is Freddie's favorite movie.
The mansion where they shot The Sound of Music.
Yes, and it's the kid's favorite movie, and Julie Andrews is like singing like a there.
Oh god!
And they're gonna have dinner with Julie Andrews, and there's gonna be a horse-drawn sleigh ride through the snow and a toboggan and a balloon ride through the Alps, and on the way back, a day at Euro Disney.
Oh God,
Disneyland, and again, of course, then Niles again. David Hyde Pierce comes in for the kill, which is why I love the man. He's the man with the comedy like stinger line always in Frasier. He says, "The cabin has an old stump the local kids love kicking." So Frasier, and this is like the James Burrow genius of Frasier. We have a great moral dilemma for Frasier. Obviously, he wants to be with his son for Christmas amidst this divorce business, and again, he's back in Seattle's a new town for Frasier. If I recall, I think.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So the point being, is he's building a new life and he wants his son to be included in his new life. Like, and that's the guiding principle. Frasier boiled down as a show about fathers and sons with the whole Martin and Frasier, of course, Frasier and his son. That's kind of the big hook of the show. Anyway.
Sure.
So Frasier, basically, you have to let him go, says Martin, and then Frasier gets really snippy. He's kind of taking it out on poor old dad here, but again, it's a frustrating situation. I'll cut him some holiday slack. So Frasier becomes he kind of becomes a quasi Scrooge here, kind of, because he is hopeful, but by the same token, he's kind of in.
No, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. He's pretty much the Scrooge. He has to, he gets a little. He kind of loses the holiday spirit and has to get it back. That's a Scrooge.
Yeah. Okay, so Frasier, he's the point being, Martin's calling him out, like, you have to let him go. Oh, thank you. What would I do without you? To tell me these things. I just want to make sure you know what's right. How would I ever live without you? That's the little when he shouts. I love when he gets in these fights with Martin too. So Daphne reassures Frasier that you're being a good father, Dr. Crane, letting him go for the holidays. And he's doing the right thing, as Frasier's always wanted to do. And again, a reason I respect the guy. But he doesn't. Basically, but it doesn't have to be. We don't have to. Basically, don't have to be without you, which is that's the bummer. Obviously, it's going to be without Frederick. That's what's bumming him out. So, point being, they're trying to let's just decorate the tree, man. What do you say? We'll decorate the tree. That'll brighten him up. And Martin brought up the lights, the old traditional lights, which then leads to the argument of the holiday.
This, I imagine, is a pretty famous scene, right, Dragon?
I would imagine it's quite great. I mean, of all it's definitely a standout fight for them. I'd say it's quite around the holidays. It has to be a landmark one. So Martin, he wants to decorate the tree, and anyway, so Frasier says, "No, no, Dad, I don't want to use the old lights. I want to use these new lights I bought." And then what are the new lights? Take a little daredevil pull. What are the new lights?
They're chili peppers.
And then we have, I think, one of the best lines of the whole thing that we might hear a little later on. But chili peppers aren't Christmas. Neither are Scotch pines or your Scotch pints or snow ornaments. and technically Bethlehem was in the desert. Let's get all semantic. Right. Nothing says Christmas like semantics, kids. Says, why don't you decorate a palm tree while you're at it? But we always use these lights. Dad, you always use lights. It's my house. I want to use my decorations for a change. Maybe it's an I want a house. And then Martin, here's where things are good. Martin calls Frasier out. Well, it's something he is doing right now. He's taking the frustration with his son out on Martin. Where Martin's calling him out like, hey, don't take things out on me. He says, oh, what? So now you're a psychiatrist? Oh, I give up. And as Martin's he's storming out there like, oh, I give up. Have your little chili pepper light. I love he just tosses him on the tree, which is so funny. Tosses him on there. It's just like, you hang a few radishes while you're at it. Broccoli on top. And this is like, Niles is interjecting here saying, hey, whatever you do, like, please don't bring this attitude to the cabin when we all go to the cabin. As per the original plan, they're all going to head up to the cabin. Minus Daphne, who I think I glazed over this joke. Daphne's going to spend the holidays with her transvestite uncle Jackie.
Oh God!
Not a normal. Again, the gag being not the traditional holiday they were thinking. Oh, Dad's gonna have a traditional holiday with families. Well, yes, but not traditionally. He was a I had to help him get out of the pantyhose or help him get out of the the nylons or something. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, so the point being, Frasier very defiantly, and this sets up the whole course of the thing. Frasier says he's not going to the cabin. What do you mean you're not going to the cabin? I'm staying here. You can't be alone on Christmas. I'm filling in for Bulldog. And then this is the famous part. This has got to be the famous part. Like, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's like the aggressive version of Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, Merry Christmas. And Eddie's hiding under the pillow. Man, just great.
Alrighty. So, meanwhile, back at the office, Roth is just thrilled, Dragon, because her mother flew all the way in to be here with her, and she's in the stinking hellhole on Christmas Day with only the loneliest, most depressing person in the world would ever call in.
Yep, and again,
but look how nice you made yourself look for me.
Yeah, we should mention this. So it's Christmas Day at KCL. Now Frasier, he's really down in the dumps. Of course, Frasier, I mean, always well dressed. Now, of course, so rarely do you see him unwell dressed that Frasier's bummed out, man. If he's not in a suit, he's not dull about things. I think the logic here is that one, he's in the dumps, which is hence the grungy appearance, but also it's kind of a ghost town at KCL because no one else is there but him and Roz. So he doesn't really. It's like voice acting. You don't always have to dull yourself if you're doing a voice or kind of doing something recorded because no one's going to see you. So it's kind of he never really has to dress up, but other people are going to be there. He's very little pompous little area that he's got to dress up. Mm-hmm. But on Christmas, and again, down the dumps. So, Frasier, he's profusely apologizing to Roz for all this because he had no idea. He completely forgot she'd have to be called in to manage the calls.
Oh, God.
So he genuinely feels bad about it. He's being really profusely apologizing here. Weather flu and all that sort of stuff. So, Frasier explains why he did this. Like, oh, Roz, you have to understand, from my perspective, I couldn't see my son. I got into a terrible fight with my father. And I thought maybe, this is where the hope for the holiday comes in here. So this is the moral.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Little gilded lily for the message here. So I thought maybe, helping some other people through their troubles might help me through my troubles on this season. Maybe. And maybe if we try, and this is where the Kells works his magic. Because here's the thing: the Kells has charmed for days, and when he really does something like that, he can turn anyone who's really mad at him. He can turn him on a dime when he does it. Impassioned stuff like this. And Roz, if we try hard enough, we could have the best Christmas ever. What do you say?
God, what do you say?
Of course, like, no, I'm not mad. Just get ready. And then we have, oh God, so charming. Okay, just tell me you're not mad at me. It's just like get away, like hug. We need the hug. Roz, like, oh, get away from me. No, you're grungy. It's just hug. Oh, it's the life. Anyway, that's just gold, man. The Kells. Sorry, get excited. Okay. All right, so we have a jolly greeting by the man himself here. Merry Christmas, Seattle. It's Christmas, this magical time of year where each moment is like a snowflake and never to be recreated. And then what happens?
I'm sorry, Frasier. We weren't recording. We need to record that again.
Yeah, basically the news ran over, so
right.
So Merry Christmas. Just completely defeated his point of what I was just saying. It's not off to a good start. It's like essentially they're embarking on like a 4-hour show, I think. So this is not going to be. Oh, it's going to be one of those days.
All right, so we have Don on line 5. Yeah, he wants to tell us about a time that he was filled with the Christmas spirit.
A fun fact: all the radio, at least. Like 90% of all the radio call-ins are celebrities, so we have a bunch of guest stars here.
Nice.
So Don is Eric Stoltz, the kid from Mass, the original Marty McFly. Eric Stoltz calls in as Don.
Uh-huh.
So it goes, Don, swaddle me in Christmas cheer. It's gold. This is great. These are great lines. So basically, long and short of it is, you tell him what happened to old Donnie boy.
Well, he was on his way home from Christmas Eve, and he realized that he left a pair of sandals or flip-flops or something, right?
They're sneakers. Like he's actually coming from the gym, and he basically had these smelly sneakers. He kind of like his favorite sneakers.
And he left them on the roof. On the roof of his car. And he looked back, and there was a homeless person, and he was already putting them on. He was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to let it go because it's the holidays.
And he's basically spinning this as like a grand gesture he made where it's just a completely, it's not at all what Frasier's looking for. He's looking for genuine generosity.
So you're telling me that you didn't slam the car to reverse, speed back there, and rip a pair of smelly old sneakers out of a homeless man's hands? Well, Roz,
I think we got Santa Claus.
We got Santa Claus himself on the line.
Oh boy! So then Barry, and then we have Barry on the phone, who's Ben Stiller, by the way. Ben Stiller.
Oh God!
And he's just weeping.
Too much for this guy.
So he's just weeping profusely. He's like, "Oh Barry, just stay on the line, please. I really want to help you." It's just like, so like, I'm good. He goes back into the profuse crying. And then we have Gladys, who's I believe George Clooney's mother. It's Rosemary Clooney.
Oh wow,
Gladys. So Gladys calls in here. Basically, she's fallen. And the idea, folks, we're in like hour 2 of the 4-hour shift right now, And the idea is like we just have this great kind of timed montage of these calls coming in, and we just see like Frasier's just his hope for the holidays, and like maybe something good will come out. He can help people. Like he'll hear like maybe a cheery story. He'll help someone have a holiday epiphany that he himself is looking for is going to happen, and it's just droning on and on of just holiday sadness after holiday sadness with each
How's it
call.
going, Barry?
Again, Gladys, she's fallen in the shower, and my hip, they can't fit any more pins in my hip because I've fallen in the shower so many times. And like it puts Barry on like the basically voice my sentiments exactly. So then we have the great Mel Brooks as Tom.
Oh dear, okay.
So of course it's so funny. We give Mel Brooks like the darkest one. So do you remember what Mel Brooks is?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Okay. So just, essentially, it's the saddest one of the bunch. So Tom is like he reflects on the Christmas when he was a kid, where he got a puppy, but then he found out horrifically the puppy was dead.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Right.
But then he just wouldn't get up. He wouldn't wake up. My mom's. I kept asking my mom, "Why won't my puppy wake up?"
Oh
So,
no.
and again, Mel Brooks doing this. He's delivering the dark comedy very well here. So then Frasier's completely morally just trained. He says, "Well, Tom, you win the prize. Saddest Christmas story." And then we go to commercial. We go to break here, and then we see Roz just crying in the booth. She's been crying. Oh, Roz, are you crying? I've been crying for the last hour.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about, Dragon, with
the
the cynicism versus kind of like the heartfelt nature, because it's heartfelt that Frasier wants to help these people, but it's a little bit cynical that they seem like in some ways they're kind of beyond help.
Again, these are realistic these are like it's like the reality setting in on the optimism, where again it's like noble gesture that we should celebrate around this time of year. By the same token, though, what are the chances he's going to help people who are calling in with problems? That again, if you really think about Frasier too hard, you're going to say, how believable is it he can fix problems with one phone call? When you really think about it, by the same token, right. It's the convention of the show, but still, how hard? If that's already a buy for the show, how deeper a buy is it going to be when it's on Christmas Day with the people who are calling on Christmas instead of being with family? That's how uphill battle are you going to get. So anyway, but again, importantly though, under the nose of all this, a little bit of holiday generosity happens where Frasier he lets Roz go home early because again he doesn't want to put her through. It's like, oh, Roz, I can do this myself. Just I can take it from here. You go home, be with your mother. We want to be sadder, Terry Gilpin, man.
Okay.
Want to be sadder by yourself? Oh, Roz, I don't think that's possible. How can it get any more sadder? He's going to find out, man. He's going to find out how much sadder it's going to get. So just like, okay, well, just don't. It's like don't sit here alone and everything. Just like get. Anyway, so the Frasier, don't worry. Don't sit here and get more and more depressed. Just you'll see your little boy soon. I know, Roz. I know. It's just hug. And again, we're bringing back the hug. This is what I'm saying, man. This is where the genuine holiday magic is slowly but surely working itself in. But again, amidst a lot of cynicism. Mm-hmm. So, of course, they'll cry, Merry Christmas. It's just them cry, Merry Christmas. Okay, so later, probably coming close to the end of the 4 hours, Frasier is begging for some good Christmas calls and good holiday cheers. Begging at this point. Then we have Jeff calling in, man. So I don't think we'd really recognize who Jeff is. I'll just say Jeff. So Jeff calls in here, and it's what is Jeff's patented cure for the holiday blues, Tiki? What always cheers him up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got lost on my notes. His cure is to pop in his favorite movie, The Sound of Music, in the VCR.
We have this really great push in on Frasier because we, the audience, are armed with the information that goes Sound of Music. He loves
watching Julie Andrews lead those adorable little tykes
through Salisbury. And again, we know Salisbury is literally where the thing is happening with for Frederick, like walking through the streets.
Nobody could be depressed watching that. Nobody.
Jeff, are you a betting man? Which again, it's such a, and again, I love this. The push in just says all. This is like Charlie Brown being insulted for the tree
yeah.
right before our eyes right now. That's what this was. We're doing the push in, and it's just again, sound music being teed up so wonderfully as Frederick Frey moving is the symbol of the symbol of his dread right now. Like what has ruined his Christmas being thrown in his face. Like it's the cherry on top of this crap Sunday for Frasier. All right, so now basically Frasier wraps up here, wishes the audience happy Christmas, and tells folks, I want you to treat yourself to something special. And I myself am having a meal at one of Seattle's fine eateries. I don't know where yet, but I guarantee you'll have a liquor license. Oh, just kidding. Don't drink and drive. You can deliver the PSA, KACL, and all that.
All right. So that's the end of Act 2, Dragon. Let's get into Act 3. And by the way, I just want to point out this episode has a very, very solid 3-act structure to it.
And it does. And speaking of 3-act structure, again, we bring back the card here, and it says the episode's title, Miracle on 3rd or 4th Street, which is kind of why we have the image we have here, because namesake. Okay.
Sure. All right, so importantly, we see Frasier get out of his car near the windows of the diner. That's going to come back. It's going to come back.
It is. It is. So he's going to Lou's Diner. Of course, Lou. I want to say the waitress is actually the owner, by the way. I think because I think her Lou. Anyway, the point being, we go into a diner, Lou's Diner. Sure. He's going to walk into the counter, sit there, kind of popping a squat here. Basically, as you'd imagine on the holidays, all the other places are either closed or booked up. Didn't leave many options. Of course, Frasier being the usual erudite, we kind of go to like the cigar lounge or something, or the point being, he'd be going to some fancy place. So what is the suggested meal for the holiday, Tiki?
Turkey log with a Yule log for dessert.
Yep, and mashed potatoes, the Christmas platter. It says, well, I can tell you where everyone's ordering the Christmas platter, which he says, yes, I'll take a Christmas platter.
Platter! A turkey log just sounds like the most depressing meal.
And I love how Frasier
a Yule log I can take. I like a good Yule log. I had a Chinese Yule log at Epcot, and it was delicious. But
what is a Yule log anyway? What is? I mean, I know what a Yule. I mean, I know what is the edible Yule log like?
Okay, it's basically like a cake in the shape of a log, Dragon. That's
really?
all you need to know. Yeah,
that's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah,
it's cake shaped like a log.
Yeah, I had like a Chinese sponge cake. Shaped like a log. I had
so specifically sponge cake though.
Well, no. This was just the Chinese version.
Gotcha.
It can be anything, but yeah, Dragon. Just a log of turkey though. That sounds so depressing. It sounds so depressing.
I'm gonna walk away from this podcast learning something. I know what the
Dragon. If you would talk to me more about my adventures in Epcot, then you'd probably learn more things because Epcot is a very educational place. Anyways.
Well, I mean, it's no Euro Disneyland, but I'll take your word for that. No. I believe
is Euro Disneyland. Dragon.
Of course. Okay. Anyway, so boy, basically a platter, and of course, Frasier.
Platter.
Frasier has that great line: "How appetizing food becomes when you have log." Frasier's chatting with Tim here. Tim being kind of the neighboring man at the counter to him. So he's basically Tim's like, "Hey, how are you? Oh, I'm okay." I love how this is what Kelsinger makes the fun act, makes the smart acting choice. Just plays it very casually. Oh, not well. Just like he basically tells him his troubles and everything. He says, I got into a fight. My son's not being with me this Christmas, and I got into a terrible fight with my father, and now I'm here. Anyway, so he says, "Oh, I'm doing pretty good though. I'm pretty good. Why is he doing pretty good, Tiki?" Because
the shoes that he's wearing right now flew right off the back of the car and landed on my feet.
And this is just such a charm. This is such a great moment. Again, this is the nexus point, Tiki. Yet again, another nexus point of the cynicism and the optimism. Again, it's something fun coming from the disaster, where it's like he's the sneaker guy, and the Kells recognizes this, man. Frasier recognizes with that great smile on his face, like he's the guy. It's like, oh, Merry Christmas. It's a great Merry Christmas. I think, oh gosh, that's funny. So let's say, and of course, then he's given the meal, the Christmas platter, and of course, the chef didn't dally over the remoulade, did he? Remoulade, did he? So I think it's remoulade.
Yeah.
Love him a lot, did he? Of course, all the highfalutin gags for Frasier, gotta love him. Okay, so Frasier, then we cut to him finishing his meal. Probably unsatisfying. Let's just interpret
Right.
there. I mean, again, how appetizing can log be? Unless it's a Yule log. I don't know. Anyway,
Or if it's the
so
log from Ren and Stimpy, because that log can just do anything.
well, it can. Tiki, that log is the Wonderkin. It's the wooden Wonderkin, my friend. Kids, if you're looking for the hottest the product this year, I mean, look no further. Let's go with the classic. I mean, Niall spoke to earlier about the predecessor, the stump, the old stump to be kicked. I mean, the log is the natural, more toyetic version of the kickable stump. The kickable stump is like the pet rock. This is the rock star of the holiday season. Anyway, I'm drifting off.
All right, well done, Dragon. Well done.
Anyway, everybody wants the log. Okay, so Frasier finishes his meal. Tim, he's got this money shot, like Tim sleeping on Frasier's shoulder as he finishes this unsatisfying meal. He's then awakened by Bill. He says, "Hey, Merry Christmas, Tim. Hey, Merry Christmas." Bill, yeah, we'll exchange some pleasantries there. Oh, that turkey platters. Is it the turkey platter as good as last year's? And then Frasier says, "I'm not sure this isn't last year's."
Got it.
Let's see. So Frasier, he offers his seat, very economy. I'm about done here. Why don't you take my seat? Oh, thanks, man.
Mhm.
So Frasier goes to pay, as you tend to do in the diner. You pay after you eat. He goes up to the counter and he makes a horrifying discovery that hopefully, folks, I hate to say it, maybe once in your life, even if it hasn't happened to you yet, I'm talking to the kids out there. It probably is going to happen to you one time in your life. You're going to have that horrifying realization. You left your wallet at the office.
Oh God, oh man, Dragon, you. Ooh, this is all too relatable. All too relatable.
I know, right? It's like it's the nightmare scenario. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so palatable seeing Frasier put in this position, man. So he's walking there, but he left the wallet at the house because he was so bummed out he forgot to grab it. So this is the big moment. This is the money moment, man. You want to take the reins?
Yeah, sure. So, so I'm sorry. What's the name of the homeless man, Dragon?
Tim.
Tim. Yes, thank you. So Tim, he rallies the troops, Dragon. He rallies the troops like, "Hey guys, let's show this guy a Merry Christmas. Come on, anything you can. Pennies, come on." And all the meanwhile, Frasier's just like, no, you don't understand. That's not necessary. I'm actually very well off.
And again, it's like Frasier's making the plea here. Just it's of course classic Frasier is all about misunderstanding comedy. It's always like a comedic misunderstanding. James Burrows, he perfected this with not just Cheers, but again Frasier is when he perfected what he was already doing well. But with the seasonal warmth attached to the misunderstanding this time, like we've all been there. We've all like Tim trying to be really sympathetic here. We've all been there. Like Bill here, he misplaced his Wall Street portfolio, so then he's collecting in the hat and everything. Again, this Frasier insisting he can pay, and of course, like no, I make a really decent living. I do. Just
God.
And again, just such a funny misunderstanding. Just such a good kind of a nexus point between the cynicism and just the optimism of the holidays here. Frasier, he's just genuinely. This is what he's been looking for the whole episode. This is Charlie Brown. They're all gathered around the crappy tree moments. They've decorated the tree. They've appreciated it now. It's Frasier just very touched that they've all allocated. They've all donated. They've all given up the money they can ill afford as is to Frasier, treating him as a true human being. It's as a fellow human being. That's all he wants. He wants to one seasonal act, one genuinely positive act. It's a good deed in a cruel world, in a weary world, says Willy Wonka. That sort of thing. We got it. So of course, like don't be like he says. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Oh, don't be embarrassed. And here's the moral, buddy boy. You want him with the moral?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay, so. Don't be embarrassed. Like, don't be embarrassed. You're like the rest of us. The rest of the year belongs to the rich with their houses and their expensive foreign cars. And of course, knowing how the scene started, it's quite hysterical. It's like lingering on Frasier. Like, oh yeah, and this is so great. This is where how they earn major points because we know Frasier is the upper crust here, but again, he's gone down from Olympus to kind of the real world for a second. He's really learning something from the experience here. It's like foreign cars, but Christmas belongs to guys like us. Again, it's saying again, it's this really lovely thing, especially in the climate we're at today, with the class battles and stuff. Where it's like,
Sure,
so, you know
sure.
what? There can be an intersecting point. Again, everyone's the same, man. Like again, he is like one of us. Again, this guy obviously is not armed with the full information. Like, oh yeah, that car is actually Frasier's and everything. And like, there's probably, again, like anyway, the point being is it's all just wonderfully just kind of what he,
It's still just, you're right. It's all very, very nice and wholesome and holiday laden and
yeah.
everything, Dragon. But,
Hmm.
but,
But
we still have to kind of end it on a punchline where.
we do, and again, we can't let Frasier get off scot free as well.
No,
Here,
no.
where again, so he's Frasier again. We take the holiday moment where he's like, I'll never forget this Christmas," and he
Oh, God.
leaves. So he leaves and he's waving to him, and they're all waving back. And then, of course, as he mid wave, he realizes, "Oh wait, it's a two-part thing because one, he realizes, oh wait, I can't be seen getting into my car." So he waves, and the second they turn their heads, he ducks down to kind of sneak into his car. And then the second part takes hold is the inside. Lou finds a pair of keys. Frasier's losing everything. He's losing his wallet. He's losing his keys. The man must have a hole in his grungy pockets. Maybe that's it. So Lou, like Polar Express style, man. So Lou finds the keys, which means to us, the audience, is where the hilarity ensues. Frasier is in quite the pickle. He does not have his keys. His keys are somewhere inside, and plus he's gonna cheapen the high note as well. So
Exactly.
and again, this is where we say again, like we Frasier is relishing in the lesson he just learned. By the same token, we have to show again,
I feel like it's a little bit more of a lighthearted, like Larry David comeuppance, Dragon.
It is. It's Larry David come up with a little more heart to it. That's the thing. Because again, Curb very much in the Seinfeld mold. Like it's not a hugging show. It's not like the warmth of the heart. It's like Frasier, absolutely. This Frasier again. Like we have to set him back because again, we have to show the upper class. We can't make it too easy for him. So Frasier's in a pickle, and that's what I'm saying. I love that's the cynical button to the holiday thing here. Where again he has to. Where again we have to set him back. Where again, he's like they kind of take a free meal from people not as well off. And again, we gotta demonstrate the lesson anyway. So he kind of sheepishly cheapens the moment as he sneaks back in. He's looking for his keys and says, "Hey, I'm not buying you dessert." It says, "Oh, I forgot." And then, of course, they're all looking at him to wish you a Merry Christmas, which you didn't wish him a Merry Christmas for. So at least he bought it back, man. Rarely in life do you get to buy back the high note, and I think he did. Merry Christmas. So then he leaves on his way out, and then we buy back the cynicism with something really nice. Tim gives him tosses a coin his way. Oh hey, tosses him a dime. Call your old man while you're at it. Again, the father-son story relit there, and that's a beautiful thing. So again, Frasier Wall caught sheepishly. I mean, like Niles or someone's going to get the car tomorrow. It's going to be fine.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure. I mean, yeah.
I have a whole theory for how this winds up, Dragon.
So what do you got?
So he does call his father to come pick him up. So it's kind of it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, right? It's
you're probably right.
It's like Frasier, you're calling me to apologize. Well, yes, Dad, I am, and Merry Christmas. But Dad,
right.
The thing is, I kind of got myself into a little bit of a. What'd you do, son? Well, and then I could just imagine a cutaway to the conversation, like, you made a bunch of hobos pay for your meal.
God, that's great too. Because here's what I was expecting, and here's the thing: there have been endings like this in Frasier, where again we didn't do it this go around. Because of course, what we get to is there's a post-credit moment with Frasier where there's no dialogue. We just play the toss salad and scrambled eggs sung by Kelsey Grammer over something really funny on the screen. Now, what we have here is fine, but I thought it was going. It's been a while, so I kind of forget we've had similar endings where basically someone else, like I imagine Martin or Nas would walk in to grab the keys and explain, "Oh, I left my keys here," and that's probably how it would have been. Right. Basically, it could have gone that way, but it's fine. The point, it's all implied. Leaving ambiguous was the classic. I think they went with the classic. We don't need to cheapen it any further. I think we're good here. Anyways, then we have Eddie opening a Christmas gift, more dog shenanigans. It's Eddie, and that's it.
Alrighty, so final thoughts on my end, Dragon. I think this is a wonderful Christmas special. I really do. I think it's got a whole lot of heart, but a cynical edge to it that kind of just adds to the heart. It makes it more, makes it more warm and heartfelt because of the cynicism. I think it's a great blend. It's a great dichotomy.
Absolutely. Final thoughts for me. Again, this is probably a Hall of Famer for a reason. I mean, it takes the premise of the holiday blues and magnifies it. Boy, does it magnify it, especially in Act Two. I mean, I've heard of Act Two ending on a low note, but my God, man, we killed puppies, we put old folks, kids and old folks, we had crying Ben Stillers, we had the whole thing.
Oh God.
But my God, did we bring the moral home in a big and hilarious way? I mean, Grammer is always MVP with an exceptional ensemble. I mean, again, it's why you love Frasier, Chef's Kiss, man, truly. Again, we mind that Charlie Brown spirit. Again, I always go back to this with Charlie Brown. It's always that like Charlie Brown going back to the little Christmas pageant, saying, "I'm going to decorate this little tree." Basically, like this is not going to. Sorry, let me rephrase that. That's good too. What I mean is, like, it's always that I'm not going to let that commercial dog. I'm not going to let that commercial thing get in the way of my Christmas. That's the Charlie Brown spirit right there. It's like, I'm not. I'm gonna go for this anyway, even though everyone says it's a bad idea. I mean, I'm not going to let anyone ruin my holiday. It's kind of what Frasier's going for here. It's a little bit of that Charlie Brown Christmas spirit. With again just with the tree and all that sort of stuff. I love that Frasier gets his faith reward in Act Three very well after everything he's been through. But again, he gets called. We call him on we call themselves on the. Sorry, let me rephrase it. The special calls itself on the sentiment perfectly. Again, it's like the old Pixar thing where again we can have a sentimental moment. We got to buy it back to. We can't let it get too mushy, but we have to ground it. We have to say it's it's like a seed, Dot, but it's a rock. No, but it's like a seed though. That sort of thing, And that's the kind of quality that makes this thing stand the test of time. So again, a lot of love for this. This is absolutely a fantastic gem of a Frasier episode. It's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. All right. Okay. Let's see. So, oops. Let's get into the tropes, Dragon.
Yeah, let's get tropey. Psychotropic. Yes. Okay.
Christmas party, office Christmas party.
True. Yes. We have a Christmas broadcast over the radio. I mean, that's it's a rare one, but it happens.
Sure.
Let's see. The bad news, the holiday bad news, the holiday blues, just overall holiday blues.
Sure.
A homeless holiday. We have homelessness factory into the Christmas special.
Absolutely.
Chili pepper lights, basically traditions, the new traditions versus the old traditions, as well as again there are Christmas. Again, the whole chili pepper lights was a fad. I guess is coming back in 2015, 2016.
Sure.
Let's see. Eggnog.
Nog, yeah.
Yes, nog. Last minute Christmas shopping. Let's see. Traveling Christmas travelogue in which Frederick again he's going to not only Euro Disneyland but again Sound of Music House again traveling around the holidays.
Sound of Music House, yes.
Yep. Let's see. Got a holiday moral at the end there definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas fight, father versus son. Christmas fight.
Sure.
By all means, jump in with anything you got here.
No, I got it.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Anything I'm missing?
I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, that's it. My God, Teague. I mean, how fun was this? Talking Frasier and all the holiday stuff, and also gag gifts. There's another one. But that's the thing. Recounting these tropes, it's such a fun process. But man, we're 7 seasons in, and we still got nothing to call this thing, man. I'm throwing my hands up in the air. Like if only we had like a scientific process for reviewing these tropes. Something catchy, something you put on a bumper sticker, like something the Kells would give a thumbs up to, man. Something you could hear Frasier Crane say over the air, man. I got like, what do we call this holiday process? Like for God's sake, now, what do we call this holiday process again?
Well, what about putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope, Frasier?
Miles, I love it. Merry Christmas, yes.
Next time on Christmas in July.
La 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 la.
la.
Chili peppers on